A top priority for any parent is the safety and the well-being of their children. In light of the recent kidnapping in Anoka County, we had the opportunity to speak with a couple of key members in our community about this topic. We recently went to the Jacob Wetterling Resource Center and we talked with Program Manager Allison Fay as well as Champlin Police Chief Dave Kolb for some tips on internet safety.
The Jacob Wetterling Resource Center was founded in 1990 following the abduction of Jacob Wetterling from his rural Minnesota home. And when he was taken in 1989, his parents, they started getting donations of people wanting to make a difference, and so they started a nonprofit organization. And when they were founded in 1990, they had basically two missions. One is to prevent abuse and abduction from ever happening again. And the other one is if someone does go missing or is abused, to have people to help walk them through that process and to be advocates. So we still to this day, 25 years later, have those two main solid programs of our prevention education and our victim assistance. A lot of our work is prevention. We spend a lot of time at parents groups and faith communities, training professionals who are in the field, about different offender typologies or how to work with the media or whatever it might be when it comes to these cases, because they don't happen very often, the stereotypical kidnappings, but when they do, there's a lot that happens very quickly. So trying to give information out about abuse prevention. So a lot of our work is education, but we also have the advocacy program. People can call our 1-800 number, 1-800-325-HOPE, and they can get connected with an advocate who can help connect them to their local services, walk them through the process. We get a wide range of calls, everything from little ones being concerned about something they saw on the internet to parents calling because a child has run away from home. And everything in that spectrum, we work to try to help families through those situations. I think the most important message is that everyone has a voice in child abuse prevention. For some parents, they talk about they don't want to have the important conversations about prevention with their children because they don't want to scare their kids to death. And what we hear more and more is that education moves people to more conversations and fear just freezes them. We want to make sure that those conversations that are so important, basic things about, if anyone's trying to do something that breaks a family safety rule, it's not your fault, but let me know about it. Or if anyone is acting in a way that makes your gut instinct go off, with kids we call it that uh-oh feeling, to let us know. So we move far away from do we know the person or not? Because we know in almost every case of abuse and abduction, the child knows the offender. And instead we move to how does this person make me feel? What is this person asking me to do? And so we really encourage parents to have those conversations early on. And if they need help on how to have the conversations or some of the what-if games that we use, they can go to our website, which is www.jwrc.org. And we have conversation prompts. We have what kids should know at different ages, how to do a family safety night. We want to make safety easy for families. Well, I've been doing prevention education here at the Jacob Wetterling Resource Center since 2001. And in 2008, I was having a hard time finding books that dealt with personal safety, that focused on the fact that most of these are people that we do know. Most of the offenders are people in the child circle, and a lot of the books that were coming across my desk were coming across as recommended, focused on the stuff that didn't work and were really scary and scared kids to death. And so we wanted to move away from the scary stuff, but to give parents tools that they could use to have the conversation. And so I worked with Free Spirit Publishing in Minneapolis, which is a wonderful publishing firm for self-help books for kids, to do some basic safety books, and then in the front give a letter to parents, and in the back do some what-if games so that it would be one of many tools that parents could use as they're trying to start these important conversations with their children. It was a wonderful journey, and the journey continues today. Playing baseball with your child, taking time to build a fort, those important memories that kids have can also help strengthen those bonds of communication so they can come to their parents if there's ever a concern or an issue.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Here with me now is Champlin's Police Chief Dave Kolb, and we're going to talk about some internet safety. Thank you for being with us here today.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Alrighty. So tell us, can you touch on some precautions regarding personal information on the internet, like how to handle screen names and passwords?
Well, it's really important, Catherine, to protect your personal information, your last name, your dates of birth, any vital numbers, those sort of things. So you really want to leave all of that off the screen names and the passwords. Passwords have to be changed regularly. You know, a lot of the things we hear and we just don't always take the time to do, those are the things that are important. We've got to really pay attention. This is a emerging area where crimes are being committed or people are being taken advantage of. So all of the kind of basic things, back to the basics that you hear, you just need to follow up with.
Any advice for maybe students on posting photos and for online friends, things they should pay attention to?
Well, for students, the main thing would be don't post anything without your parents at least getting a look at it and giving it the okay. And I know for kids that's counterintuitive, but a lot of those things can be misused in ways that kids don't always realize. And so the safest thing is talk to your parents, make sure they know what you're posting. You know, and the issue about things being misused, oftentimes people are online, they believe they're meeting someone online and they're forming a friendship and whatnot, and that's very often the case. But you don't really know who that is. And so the whole issue of online friends and the use of photos and those kind of things, again, you've got to have your parents involved with that, and you've got to be careful about those things, because not everybody online is who they're claiming to be.
Mm-hmm. How about the importance of social networking safety and how it relates to online bullying and how that can be avoided?
Well, let's start with a basic thing about social sites is there are age requirements, and I know we're talking about child safety a lot here, so you certainly don't want kids who are underage getting into those sites. In terms of bullying, look, computers are now a means of communication, just like face-to-face has been forever, and telephones and all those kind of things. So people get into conflicts. People make threatening statements. The best thing to do, whether you're on a computer or even face-to-face, frankly, is to ignore it. Oftentimes when someone's bullying online, they're looking for a response. And the easiest way to put a stop to it is just don't respond at all. Mm-hmm. Obviously, don't take part in it. That's another big piece of it. But the best thing to do is just ignore it. If it's really serious or making you uncomfortable, especially for a kid, talk to your parents, talk to a teacher. If it's a very explicit threat, you certainly can contact the police. But the best way to get it to stop, frankly, is just don't respond.
Mm-hmm. How could students and parents research this topic if they don't have enough information?
They can do what most of us do these days, is go on Google and do some research. I did that just getting prepared for this interview, and again, what I found is some of the basics that we hear all the time, but they're good things to visit.
Okay, and any advice for parents?
I think the best thing for parents to keep in mind is you really need to know what your kids are doing. We say that all the time, and parents are pretty conscientious about where are their kids. Are they down the block? Are they out on the street? Who are they with? It's easy to forget that when they're online, it's really the same environment. They may be sitting right next to you, but if you don't know who they're with online or who they're talking to or where they are online, those are things you should be paying attention to.
Very good. Anything else you'd like to add that people in Champlin or other cities should know about?
You know, I'll circle back to what I said at the beginning of this conversation about taking it seriously. Again, it's really easy to just kind of forget about changing your passwords and not posting things that could make you vulnerable. But those are the things we have to do. So I think mostly, more than anything else, take it seriously and be diligent about it.